Hello friends, I am talking to CA final students of SCM and PE of new syllabus. And our today's topic for discussion is how to remove fear of case studies. How to remove the fear of case studies. And for those who are new to me, my dear friends, I am CA Rakesh Agrawal, who teaches the subject of SCM and PE. Let's go ahead, my dear friends. So, dear student friends, ICAI issued a case study digest in February 2021. All of you are aware of this. This led to a fear and anxiety in the minds of students community about how much to study. The problem is now how much to study. More and more literature is coming in, right? With every passing attempt, you have new RTPs, you have new exam papers, MTPs. So the students have started asking a question, sir, how much to study? There has to be a limit. There are so many subjects to study. I truly agree with you, my dear friends, because the literature will keep coming in and institute will keep issuing it on their website. So there has to be somewhere the full stop or some limitation on how much to study, because you have to study for 8 subjects and not just one subject. In today's lecture, I will discuss my views. My dear friends, please remember, these are going to be my views about how to tackle this situation with a cool mind, right? Without worrying how to deal with the situation of increasing literature which is coming in. If you refer the scheme of weightage of marks as given by ICAI, the weightage of marks scheme is given for chapters, then you will notice that case study is actually chapter number 13 in the syllabus of the institute. It carries only 20% weightage. It carries only 20% weightage of marks. Now generally you will notice that the first compulsory question, right, all of you are aware, first compulsory question of case study is of case study for 20 marks. First of all, it's the first question itself and it is compulsory also. And the question carries 20 marks. And when you get the question paper in your hand, naturally there is a tendency that you will read the first question first. That is a natural tendency. And then your worry starts. The moment you read the first question, your worry may start. So I have got some plan for you, don't worry. The question paper is set for total of 120 marks. All of you are aware, including one optional question. So you have to answer 5 main questions of 20 marks each. All of you are aware. There is one more question. There is a 6th question also of 20 marks. So total question paper is designed for 120 marks, out of which you have to appear for 100. Okay. So one question is already optional given by the institute. Now let us assume for some time, just whatever I am discussing, just imagine that hypothetical situation for some time. So let us assume for some time that you have dropped one optional question, right? Naturally you will drop which optional question which you find difficult to solve. So out of 6 questions which are appearing in the question paper, one question is already optional. Choose which one to drop. Naturally try to drop the question which is most difficult for you. And assume for some time that you have dropped the case study question also. For some time I am saying. It means you have dropped question 1 from the question paper. Question 1 already dropped, compulsory. For some time I am saying. And out of remaining 5 questions, one more is dropped as an optional question. You have to. So now 4 questions are left. Correct? 4 questions which you have to solve. Now the paper is left for 80 marks. That is 4 questions of 20 marks each. Now naturally one question, main question may carry 2 sub questions. A question 20 marks, A question 10 marks, B question 10 marks. Or A question sometimes 10 marks, B 5 marks, C 5 marks. That is possible. But main question is for 20 marks. All of you are aware. So now the question paper, after dropping 2 questions, one case study you have dropped and one optional question you have dropped. So now the question paper is left for 80 marks. And you still have 3 hours time to write the paper. Just think it this way. I am just telling you to think this way. that after dropping 2 questions, 80 marks paper is left, but you still have 3 hours to write the paper, or institute has reduced your time proportionately? No. So you still have 3 hours to solve the paper and you have to solve 4 questions. Now I want to say, can't you do justice with 80 marks paper? Can't you do justice with 80 marks paper in 3 hours? And that too, this 80 marks paper doesn't include case study. It is excluding case study and a difficult question which I have already dropped. Just think from this angle what I am saying. Your burden will immediately get released. I am telling you to appear for 80 marks paper, and that 80 marks paper excludes case study and excludes one difficult question which you have opted out. And you have to appear for this 80 marks paper in 3 hours. Can't you do justice, I am saying? Can't you do justice with this 80 marks paper? And I have seen students scoring 60 marks out of this 80 marks also. So you can score easily 55-60 marks out of this 80 marks paper, because whatever is left now is the easier portion. Whatever you are afraid of, you have already dropped. You have dropped case study, you have already dropped a difficult question. So whatever simple portion is left, out of that 80 marks paper, 3 hours is the time available with you. Just think over this way and you will find that yes, it is easy. So as I said, just think over about this idea which I am sharing with you, and your fear will go away. Now it doesn't mean that I am suggesting you to skip a case study chapter or ignore it. Not at all. I just said for some time, prepare yourself mentally that these 2 questions are not there. So I am not telling you to skip. I am not telling you to ignore it or not to study it. I am not saying that. We have got a plan how to study. What I am just trying to say is that it is overhyped. This case study matter is overhyped and feared by the students. This matter got overhyped, especially after that case study digest issued by the institute. It got overhyped, and it is the students are unnecessarily afraid of, right? The fear is set in the minds of the students, right? And some students, or probably some other people, are also, they have also contributed, right, to make you afraid of this case study. So I think it is overhyped. Please remove this tension and fear from your mind. And now I will discuss how to deal with case study in the exam. Definitely, we will deal with that case study because it's a compulsory question. But let us see my plan of action, or what is my suggestion. If you like it, you may implement it. Choice is naturally yours. So how to tackle a case study? Those who love to read and write theory, but there are very few people who love to read also and write theory answers. They may solve this question first. Which question? Case study question first. Those who love to read and write the theory. Hardly you will get 5% students who love to read and write the theory. So they will appear for this case study question first in the exam hall. Now remaining 95% students. However, majority students, as I said, that is remaining 95% students, are neither willing to read a case study nor are willing to write theory answers. Majority, even I belong to your category, that 95% category, that we don't love to read the theory question, neither we love to write it. For them, the suggestion is, right, I am also belonging to your category, my dear friends. For them, the suggestion is, do not read question number 1 at all in the beginning. Don't read question number 1 in the beginning. Means the moment you go to the exam hall and the question paper lands in your hands, do not read question 1. Start reading from question 2 onwards. Now read this question 1, that is case study question, only after solving any three practical questions of 20 marks each of your choice, which you think are simple. Drop question 1, don't read it. Out of remaining 5 questions, choose any 3 practical questions which you think are simple for you. Now this choice will be different for different students. Out of remaining 5, select any 3 questions. Start solving those questions first. So first decide the plan of action in your mind to solve 3 practical questions excluding the case study question. Okay, solve these simple questions first. Do not at all read question 1 at the beginning. Start reading from question 2. Now read only first few lines of case study. Now I am assuming, I will come back to this. I am assuming you have solved 3 practical questions of 20 marks each. It means your 60 marks paper is over. 60 marks paper is over, and this 60 marks paper is one which you find simple. So you are almost confident of scoring 40 marks out of this 60 marks paper which you have solved. Is that okay? Because this 60 marks paper is which portion you are solving, which you think is simple for you. And out of this 60, you are confident about scoring 40. Now we will attempt the case study. Now, read that case study after solving 3 questions. Read only first few lines of case study. Only first few lines, 3-4 lines of case study. And then directly go to the bottom of case study and read the requirement. That is the main question, what they have asked. What did I say? After 3 questions solved, now you are reading the case study. Read first paragraph, few lines. Just the name and the introduction of that organization is given. And then go to the bottom directly. Skip the matter in between. Go to the requirement section at the end of the question. Now, after reading this requirement of question, you will get an idea about the chapter and the topic to which the case study belongs. If you have done a reasonable study, and every chartered accountancy students does that, so after reading that requirement portion of the question, you will get a clue that this case study is related to which chapter, and in that chapter it is related to which topic. That approximate idea you will get in your mind. Now, for example, when you read that requirement part, you may come to know that the case study is related to value chain analysis, or it might be related to supply chain management, or it is related to total productive maintenance, or the case study is related to triple bottom line, or it is related to balance scorecard, or it is related to total quality management, or it might be related to environmental management accounting. These are all popular chapters or topics for asking a case study question. So read that requirement and you'll come to know that this case study belongs to which topic. Then do what? If you have studied that topic and if you remember the main points covered in that topic, right? Main points covered in value chain analysis, main points covered in supply chain management, and so on. So if you remember those main points, then only, if you are able to recollect it, then only you should read the whole case study for answering it. Then only read the whole case study for answering it. See, I think in 80% cases you will get the clue just by reading the requirement of the question. It's only 10 to 15% chance that by reading the requirement portion of the question, you may not understand the case studies about what. But I think 80% of the occasions, it is very clearly mentioned. And you will come to know that this belongs to, the case study belongs to which topic. And if you remember the points, main points of that topic, then read the whole case study and start answering the case study. Now, else, suppose after reading the requirement part, you come to know that no, I have not studied this topic. Then don't waste your time in reading it fully. Don't waste your time. You can answer it at the end only if time permits. Then solve one more practical question. Solve one more. 3 you have already solved. Solve the 4th practical question and then take 5th one. Last you will take case study. Right? And then whatever you can do your best. Whatever points you can write, then write it down. Now suppose the case study is related to primary and secondary activities of value chain analysis. Suppose the case study is related to value chain analysis, primary and secondary activities. Then you should cover these 9 activities in your answer without fail. There are 5 primary activities and 4 secondary activities as narrated by Michael Porter. So 5 primary and 4 secondary. Even if you remember these 9, the names of these 9 activities, you are ready to solve the case study. And you have to highlight these points while writing the answer of case study. You have to highlight these 5 plus 4, 9 points you have to write, underline to attract the attention of the examiner. And then write few lines inside. You can borrow this matter from case study itself. See, the question itself, case study question itself contains a literature or matter which you can use in your answer. So these 9 points are to be covered, or 9 activities are to be covered without fail, and you have to highlight them to attract the attention of the examiner. The matter is the important points, like I'll take you further. Suppose the case study is related to triple bottom line. Now triple bottom line has got 3 main points, and these important points are people, planet and profit. So you have to cover these points, and you should be able to write few lines because you've already studied the subject. What I am trying to convey you is, see, the examiner is also in a hurry. Examiner also doesn't have time to read your entire answer of case study. I don't think so, because there is a lot of pressure and they have to solve or check so many answer papers. So they are only searching for important points. So you have to write those important points and highlight them and write few lines on your own if you can. Suppose the case study is related to performance measurement of a non-profit organization, and you are told to use the value for money framework. Then you must cover the 3 important points which are covered in value for money framework, and these 3 important points are effectiveness, efficiency and economy, and explain them a little. See, once you cover these, you are sure to get some marks, because these are the points which have to be covered in that case study, provided you are able to get the clue that the case study relates to which chapter and which topic, and you are able to recall those important points. Then please remember that your answer of case study will never exactly tally with ICAI answer. It will never tally. Even if I appear for the exam, or any faculty for that matter appear for the exam and try to write the answer of case study, it will never exactly match with the institute's answer. And no 2 answers of 2 students of case study will match. So just forget about it. The answer will never tally. Even ICAI, if you check the suggested answer, ICAI always mentions in their suggested answers that they always mention 2 points. A, conceptually correct and brief explanation is sufficient. Conceptually correct and brief explanation. Generally, you will find suggested answers are very lengthy, but you cannot write that much. So conceptually correct and brief answer, the quality is important, not the quantity. So is sufficient. That is what they write in the suggested answer. You can check. And B, alternate views are also possible. They always say that alternative views are also possible. However, you have to cover all the important aspects of that case study. In short, you don't have to read and remember the answers of all case studies by heart. If you are of the opinion that I will read the whole case study digest and I will mug up all the answers and I will remember all the answers of these case studies by heart, not possible. So you don't have to do that. It is not possible. So it is impossible and not advisable also to read all case studies and keep it in your mind. It is impossible, not recommended. I will just give you a hypothetical example of 2 students. We will take one student who is studying logically. He only remembers the important points of each topic. One student. Second student who has remembered all the answers of case studies by heart. Now let us take their imaginary situation. Let us say student A is able to read and remember the answers of 50 case studies. Student A is able to read and remember the answers of 50 case studies. One case study out of these 50 appeared in the exam. First of all, I don't know what is the probability that if he has remembered the answers of 50 case study, one of them will appear in the exam. I don't know the probability. But let us assume that out of this 50 only one case study appeared in the exam. And he could write the answer very well using his memory power, because he remembered the whole answer of that case study out of 50. And he could write the answer as it is, assuming same to same case study appeared in the exam. Now let us assume that he could score 15 marks out of 20. Generally in theory question you won't get 10% marks. So out of 20 marks, examiner liked the answer very much, he has awarded 15 marks. That is what I am assuming. Another student B had kept only important points in his mind. Student B didn't mug up, right? Didn't read and remember the answers by heart of all the case studies, but he remembered only important points. And he could answer the case study by explaining these points as compared to B, as compared to A. Now this student B, he could score only 10 marks for that question. So student B has scored 10 marks. But student A, as he remembered the entire answer, he could score 15 marks. Okay. How much extra student A has scored? A has scored extra 5 marks. So if we compare the incremental marks are 5, and incremental effort, that is time spent in reading and remembering 50 case studies, then you can take the decision on your own if you compare. So you only compare incremental time and incremental efforts. Incremental marks and incremental efforts. So for that extra 5 marks, how much you will read? How much extra efforts you will take? You yourself do that comparison. You won't get 0 marks, no? If you write something sensible and if you cover the important points of that case study, you will still get some marks. I am assuming you will get 10 marks and student A will get 15 marks. So it will make a difference of 5 marks. But for 5 marks, how much you will try to study and you will try to remember? Now keeping this situation in mind, you take your own decision. In nutshell, what I want to say is study conceptually and be prepared for anything which appears in the exam. Instead of searching for multiple books and sources to find out possible questions which may appear in your attempt. Lot many students nowadays are doing this, that my attempt is May so and so, my attempt is November so and so. What will appear, which questions will appear in that attempt? I think this exercise itself is futile. It's of no use. My logic is very simple. What I am suggesting you, don't chase questions. How many literatures you will refer? Right? How many questions you will refer? If you want to chase questions, that same to same question will appear in the exam. So don't chase questions and don't chase case studies, my dear friends. My suggestion is chase the logic, chase the concept. If you are conceptually perfect and clear, you can answer any question. That is what I am trying to suggest through this video. One thing I have done for you, I have recorded a quick revision batch for you. A quick revision batch of SCMNP which covers all important points of all the chapters. You can say it's a last minute revision batch, right? A day before or a few days before the exam, you can use it. So all important points of every chapter and every topic I have covered in that quick revision batch. So those who are unable to prepare their own brief notes, see, either you should prepare your own brief notes for revision purpose. If you have done that, then you don't have to do anything else. But those who are unable to prepare their own brief notes and those who are finding it difficult to recollect what they have studied long before, because generally this subject SCMNP is studied in the beginning and by the time exam comes near, there is a long gap in between and you try to forget. So if you are unable to recollect and if you have not prepared your own notes for revision, then I have a solution for you, and that solution is your quick revision batch. You may buy the video lectures of SCMNP quick revision batch having an MRP of only ₹500 from our website and revise the important concepts of all the chapters in a short period of time of 17 clock hours. This duration, total duration of this batch is 17 clock hours. So accordingly, you can plan in a day, 2 or 3 days, you can cover that quick revision batch. This product contains ebook also, ebook of PowerPoint presentation which I have used for explanation. So I have converted that PowerPoint presentation into an ebook which can be opened through that software. So this product contains the ebook of PPT presentation which I have used for explanation. It means your summary notes are ready if you have not prepared. I am repeatedly saying, if you have prepared your own notes, first preference goes to your own notes because own notes are always best. But if you don't find time to prepare own notes or if you have forgotten almost all the concepts, right, then you can take help of this quick revision batch which I have recorded for you and it is available on our website for sale. Thank you, my dear friends. I hope this video will help you to remove the fear from your mind, fear of case study naturally, and will guide you to the future path of your studies. Okay friends, thank you, bye bye, and wish you all the best for your exam.